Well, welcome to this week's edition of Real Estate Today, brought to you by Evans & Evans Real Estate. Today we are here at a beautiful home with some incredible views just off Highway 36 on kind of the outside of Kingsport. We are joined by Realtor Scott Smith to tell us a little bit more about this home and to talk a little bit about investment property. And Scott, thanks so much for meeting us out here.
Oh, you're very welcome. I always enjoy it.
Looking forward to giving our viewers a tour of this home and the incredible property. But let's talk a little bit about investment property. I know that's something that continues to be a very big trend.
It is. It is. In the past year, we've not had much on the market that you can get and remodel because the prices are so high, and the property selling is really not in that great a shape. But there's a little more coming on the market now finally, so there's some things out there you can find, put a little money into them, put a little sweat equity, and you can make some money in the long run.
Absolutely. What are some of the things that you should consider when it comes to remodeling? Obviously, not everybody is fit for something like that.
There's different strategies, but mine is find a home that has good bones, as they always say. But the things I look at are the roof, because that's your most expensive, the heat and air systems, the windows, things like that are big chunks of money if you have to replace. You might as well figure on replacing all the flooring. That's going to happen no matter which remodel you do. You're going to paint everything too. So you have other things like kitchen cabinets and those, because those are really big expenses if you have to go into those, other than just painting. And then changing out the hardware, that's a good way to bring a lot of bang for your buck without spending a lot of money. But once you go to the new cabinets, then you're talking about a whole different set of expenses, of course.
It's sort of different when you're showing the home, usually as they're walking through some of the things that they're seeing. Really not that important when you're looking at an investment type property. Like you said, it's really the bones, not like typical people when we're looking at the colors and what's aesthetically pleasing.
Correct. You're basically not trying to buy the house yourself, because you may have different taste. I know I have totally different taste in what I prepare for flipping a home and getting one ready to sell, because I'm not like everyone else, just like anyone else has different tastes. So you have to be as generic, and you basically want to have as broad of appeal as you can to everyone. Then that way, the more people that see it, the better chances you have to sell that home.
And what about looking at some of the financing options when it comes to investment property? It's a little different.
It is. It's not your typical home, and you need to be aware that that's considered commercial. It is not considered a primary residence, so there are a little different laws that govern you. You're very well protected as a homeowner. The government makes sure that you're not going to get hosed. That's not always the case when you go on commercial property, especially on bigger stuff, so you really need to read the contract a little better. Wouldn't hurt to have an attorney review the contract, or really have the banker explain to you what you're getting.
Speaking of that too, are there differences when it comes to codes for updating and remodeling?
There are. Each one depends on what level of remodel you do. When you tear a wall out, as soon as you open that wall, you just open yourself up to a lot of inspections, insulation, plumbing, all has to be replaced under that section of wall that has been opened now. So once you go to that, it becomes a whole different ball game. If you're just remodeling, changing colors and stuff like that, you don't have to pull permits for that kind of thing.
All right, certainly a different path and a lot different things to think about when you are considering going that route.
Correct. Just a lot of different things, and it takes, I learn every time I do one. You constantly learn.
All right, well, certainly some great information. Thanks so much for joining us, Scott.
You're welcome.
We'll give everybody his information. If you would like to get a hold of Scott and you'd like to see some property or learn more about investments, you can contact him at the number right here. You can always check out the website as well, or call the office at Evans & Evans Real Estate.